I wasn't really planning on doing this in this part, but after we built out the middle section, I didn't realize that this just isn't going to be wide enough. I mean, we really need to expand this and make it wider. And so I thought that we would just go ahead and do that. I am going to draw a line, and we're just going to cut as straight as we can down the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to use my scissors, and yes, we are going to cut. And I have done this before where, you know, I just needed to expand the spine and I had most of everything done, and you know, it makes some people nervous, but I guess I've been working on journals and albums for so long that yeah, nothing really surprises me. All right, so that is cut now, and we're gonna do this other section. And I just think it's gonna look so much better just to make that spine wider. So if you go back and you follow this, you might want to change those measurements to make your spine wider than what I did on mine. So this will be an easy fix. I found this, and I got this from Staples. It's just some ledger paper, but look at the back. We got some chipboard. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go 1.5 inches. I need to cut 2 pieces. So we'll just use that. I think I have a few pieces that I can use here, so I think I'll use that just like so. So 11 inches. So we can glue that on there. So I'll use this side because I got glue on the other side. And then, you know, you could distress those edges. Okay, and then we're going to place some glue right here. And do I want this? Yeah, I think I'm going to do this side and have that on the outer side. And then we're just going to set that there and hold it. And it's right below where that fold is. Maybe out about 1/8 of an inch from the fold. Okay, so we have the middle section attached. Now we need to do our side flaps and reattach those. And we're just going to do the same thing. We are going to place some glue right below the fold. And all we're going to do now is attach this side. So we're going to place some glue here. And this is one of the things, you know, whether you're making a journal or an album or whatever it is, this is what you do if you find like, oh, I need it wider. You just, yeah, you just cut right through the spine. You just get the scissors and you go into demo. Demolish. You just demolish it. Now I want to make sure, again, that everything is straight, and I'm really focusing to make sure, you know, that this is all lined up. Okay, so now look at all this extra room that we have. Okay, so everything is reattached, and then when we go into the decorating part of things, I will clean this up and we'll do the outer section of the spine as well. But I just want to show you now, when you put your middle section in there, there should be a lot more room for you to add in photos and things like that, but it still sits nice and flat now, and there's just a lot more space in there. Okay, my thought for this spine area, the inner spine area, is I have these Anna Griffin cut and emboss folders. I will be using this to make a little embellishment right here. I found some rose gold metallic paper that I'm going to do to match this coloring here. But these are so pretty. Her cut and emboss folders, I love them. And I haven't used these yet, so I'm excited to use them. So there's 3 different folders that you get. I am going to use, I'm trying to think of what would look the best. I think I'm going to use this one. This is the ironwork border that I'm using. So I used an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper of the metallic cardstock, and this is 12 inches, so you'll see where I just cut part of the 8.5 by 11 to make up for the 12 inches there. But look how pretty this is. And that just, oh, I love it. Okay, we'll try the ground espresso and see if we can get some, yeah, distress on this. That works. I might even take my black soot after I do this and go even darker. I'm going to try that and see if I can distress it up even more. I found this golden nugget effect paste. It looks, I don't know. This has been sitting in my drawer for a while. We'll see here though. We'll check it out and see what we get. Just kind of curious now. I was looking for maybe something that would give it a little patina. I'm going to apply it first to one of my little scrap pieces and just kind of see what we get. Well, that's kind of cool. It's weird because you don't see any of the gold or anything in here, but when you go to apply it onto something, it does, you know, it does kind of have this gold tone to it. I like that. Okay, we're going to try that and see. This is, again, this is why I like to decorate. This is why I like getting to the decorating part, because I usually, you know, try all this stuff. I have never tried this before. I don't even know if you can still get this. I will see. Maybe I still have some in stock. I don't know. Much better. It needed that, you know, as opposed to just that. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to distress this and then apply some of this effect paste and let these dry, and that is what I'm going to do for my decorative element on the inner spine. I'm thinking I want to just add a little patina color to this. So I have Blue Lagoon and I have Mint Sparkle. And I think I have one of these left and a few of the Blue Lagoon left. Yep, that adds just that little bit of patina color that I was looking for. The backing of my shipping labels are the best thing. They work. That's my palette paper. They work for so many different things. My paints, the waxes, and we have this distressed patina. Oh, I love it. I love it. Look at the difference. And it needed that. Just needed that. And you can see I only used a little bit of wax. The wax goes a long way. And maybe I should have glued this. I don't know. I just really didn't want to chance it, you know, the moisture of the glue messing with anything that I did. So that's why I'm using my tape gun. Again, you could use double-sided tape. I just love the look of that. So pleased with it. I had like no idea what I was going to do there. And then, yeah, sometimes things just click, and it all got inspired from those vellum papers with the rose gold gilding on there. Everything was inspired from that. That's where the idea to do this came from. Just feels nice to put some of this stuff to use. Same with my waxes. And I hadn't even used this. I had this sitting in my drawer for many years as well. I mean, I'm talking like 5-6 years. But just to show you what it looks like on the white paper, that effect paste. And again, it was the golden nugget. You can see the gold tones in there. And then it's just got this rough sandy texture, which I think works perfectly for distressing things like this that are embossed. It just gives a really, really cool effect. All right, so I have this part, and then I did do 2 more for the outer part of my spine. And I still have to add the patina wax to this, but I still need something going around there. I'm thinking black, just black cardstock. I have some, I don't know if I have velvet. I do have this velvet, but oh, I would love black. I think black would look better. But you know, I could do something like that. I thought what I would try first is taking my black soot distress oxide and going over it and seeing if I can get something close to black, because that would work. I think that'll look nice. So now I'm just going to apply this trim, and I'm going to try very hard not to get glue on top of my trim. This worked nicely. So I want to make sure I have that centered nicely on both sides, and we'll see what this is going to look. I think that will work nicely. And then center it, and I need to make sure I get it right the first time, because I don't want to see that glue on that trim, so I want to be very careful. And I'm going to lightly, very lightly press down, and then just kind of hold that in place. Once I have this glued down, what I did is I had these brads, and I'm going to cut this off because I don't want that to poke through. So I'm using my Tim Holtz scissors. And I took some black cardstock, and then I just put a little piece of burlap over the black cardstock and placed my brad through after I punched a hole in there with my big bite. And then I'm just going to glue these down like so and run some beads. I have some coffee bean beads, and I'm going to do a little strand of those across here is my plan for that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. And we'll just let that glue dry and let it sit there. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm going to put it at a slant just right there. And maybe just like that. And trim off that edge there. All right, I like that. I have my flap here that I want to do something with, and I'm going to work on this back section. I thought I would take another one of these paper bags, and again, this is just what I had left over from packaging. I had used half of the lunch bag, and what I'm going to do is create a pocket envelope is my thinking. So right where these folds are, I'm just going to fold that in half. Right up to that fold. And then I'm going to go up to this fold. And these are just the natural folds of the lunch bag. And then this will be our flap. So there's an easy way to make an envelope from a paper lunch bag. And again, I kind of like the texture. I'm thinking of using some cardstock here. And then I could put this up on the flap, is what I'm thinking. And then I might take, let's see, this section here and just cut out this section right here. I think I'll put that there. And that might be able to make a little pocket. And I'll just use my decal edge scissors. So we'll put that right there. So I'm going to cut this section out first, and then let's see, 6.5 by 4.5, about 6 1/8. 6 1/8 of an inch. Put that like so. Okay, and I think I might put that there. I have a 1-inch circle punch, so I'm going to punch out 4 circles. And I doubled it up just so it would be nice and durable, is the main reason I doubled that up with the circles. I'm going to use my mat and the rulers on it to determine where the middle is. Punch some holes in the middle. And then I can put my eyelets through and set them. Now I have my closures, and I might take a little bit of the gilding wax and just hit the edges of this a little bit. There are our closures. The next thing I'm going to do is glue the paper bag. First, I'm going to do along the fold here. And then on this side. And then on this side. And I already have a notch here. I do need to clean up the top part of my flap here, so again, this is where I'm going to just use the decollage scissors. And then I'm going to want to distress the edges. So I'm going to use the ground espresso, and I will want to do the pieces that I cut as well. I might have to go with some vintage photo. I have a lot of black soot on my brush. Just to kind of lighten that up a little bit. So I'm going to just use my circle punch to make a little notch here. And that will go right there. There's that piece, and then I have the espresso, which I'm going to place right up here. So this is going to go right in the center of our flap there. So we have this here, and I'm going to glue just here and here. And then I have this piece, which is going to go over here like so. So again, just going to place glue on this edge and this edge. All right, my flap is 6 3/4 by, let's say, 1 3/8. All right, going to cut right, let's see, right through here, down to here. By 6 5/8. And then I will just trace right here, and we will cut that off. And then I will use my decollage scissors just to kind of match up that edge a little bit. And then we will distress. And then we just have everything reinforced so it's not going to tear easily or anything like that. And now we have this side here that we'll have to do something with, but look how cool. And then we have our closure. And so I had a little scrap piece again, and I think I might take and use this, and then we'll put that there. And then we have the other one here, and I just need to get some twine for our closure. And then a dot of glue right around here. And then I'm going to place this. See, make sure I have it centered, and we'll place this one right there. I'm going to use a little bit of this washi again on parts of this flap. Okay, and I am going to apply some glue because this has been lifting up, has not been staying down at all, and so right on the edge is the main thing where I really want to make sure I have some glue so that edge of the washi will stay down. Maybe cut out some of this again and attach a little bit, maybe just a little bit of that there. Just kind of get the most out of my scraps here. So I could put a piece maybe just like so, right there, and right there. And I think I like that. I think I might do that. I'll distress that up like you've been seeing me do and patina it a little bit. But this will give a nice little accent. Okay, so I have this tag here, which I'll probably decorate this tag, but you can see how it fits in that pocket, nice and nifty. And then for this side, this back side, I think I want to use some from this design. And I'm going to just tear. Let's see. Just tear a piece that's approximately the size of the envelope. And so I have that there. I think I'm going to use my decollage scissors and just go along here. Maybe add this on the edges here. And we are going to place it right down on this corner here. And now our cup, my thinking is I am going to apply glue just at the top here. And we will lay that down like so, up at the top of the envelope, right at the very top there. We're just going to place glue right up here. That is all. And then I can just glue that maybe right. I need to see. Let's see how far down I can go there. Right there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we are just going to glue that underneath here. So now we have our flap like that. I kind of like that. That looks neat. I think before I glue it down, I am going to take my Spectrum Noir Metallic. This is in Gold Nugget. And I am going to just go along here and add in a little bit of that rose gold color. And so I'm going to place a drop of glue here, a drop of glue here. This is going to sit over it like so. Okay, and then the other thing I might do is just take a little bit of, you know, this vellum here, and I don't know, I'm just going to cut out some pieces and see where I might want to put them. So like I have that, I can put that there. Just right along there. I am going to use this coffee cup here. This is from Caffeinated from All in Create. I love this stamp set. This is another one I absolutely love. I think I have 1 or 2 left in stock is all. And I don't think they make it anymore. I don't know. I'd have to check and see. Like so. That looks amazing. Like I said, it works almost every time for me. So there, we have our stamped tag. So I have my print that I did earlier, and I cut out little sections, and I have this section here, and I like that. I think I might use that up there and redo my hole punch there. And then I'm thinking I kind of like this down here, so I'm just going to tear along here. Okay, I have a scrap piece of that fabric tape from 49 and Market. I think I'm going to use a strip of this. Just right up there. And then I will trim the excess off. And then I have that one piece. Where did it go? Right here. And I am going to put that right, I think right there. Right there. Here is my gold nugget spectrum noir marker, and I might just go in where that coffee bean is and add a little hint of this color. All right, and now I might just take a little bit of the gilding wax just to introduce a little bit of this color, and I mean just a little bit. And let's see, I'm going to just take my brush and kind of scrub where I laid some of that color down. Just try to blend it a little bit. There we go. I see certain things, and so I can take my black pen and just go along and really deepen in some of those black areas. Make them stand out a little bit more. So get my jelly roll pens. And we can add in some white accents here and there. And just keep coloring and adding in lines and details. But there is our stamp tag. And now this can go right inside of here, like so. So anyway, we got a couple pockets and it can hold a tag, journal card, and yeah, just fun. And then we have our flap here, and all of it was made out of half of a paper bag. Super easy. And then, of course, we have this setting on our flap, like so. So it goes inside, flap, and sits down in there, all nice and snug. Okay, so I have all of these scrap pieces left from the die cuts that I did from these cut and emboss borders, and I was thinking I could take and just do some accents here and there. So I was thinking like maybe a strip under here and then maybe a strip here. And I want to make sure I don't get any of the glue on the metallic that's showing. Let's see. So I want to be pretty careful. I'm going to take the baby wipe and just kind of wipe along any excess glue. And I'm going to place this right there. And then I have this little piece here that I cut out, again from those vellum sheets. But you know, you could just add washi, whatever you can find that might have some foil on it, a gold foil. And so there's that. And then I have my rose gold. I think I might just add a little strip of this right, I don't know, like right under here, or no, right there maybe. So I'm going to cut this in half. I think just this little strip right there is perfect. Again, I'll use my baby wipe to wipe off any excess glue. And so you can see just these little details that we're adding in. They just make a world of difference. I might add a little something here. I do have my pen, again, where I can maybe go in and add some color along this line here. might even go up into her eyelid just a little. And then I think I'm going to use this 1907 again. I did grab another sheet of this. So that's there. And then I have where it says hand-drawn Victorian. I was thinking of putting that right up here. I like it there. You can see that little bit of rose gold. It's so pretty. Okay, so I have my hole punch. That right there. A little bit of glue, and we will set that like so. All right, and then when that dries, I can just cut that little excess off from there. Just like so. And then we'll just take off the excess there and there. And I will just add, let me go along here. Okay, I cut another little sliver of the rose gold. Thought this might look good, maybe just a little bit of it right up there. And I am going to go ahead and just apply it right up there. Just a little accent of it is all I'm looking for. And so I'm going to do the same here. And just apply just a little strip of glue. So I'm going to apply it to the back of my panel. I'm just applying a little bit of glue right there. And then I'm going to attach that under like so. Okay, I have this corner here where I just think it needs something, and I had a little bit of my receipt left from the digital. I just cut this out from there, and I think I'm going to attach that right there. Okay, I think that looks great. I am so happy with this. Okay, and then this again, this goes inside our flap. We have this part right here, goes down through there, and that comes up. So I have this leftover piece. This is from my 12 by 12, and I like the black. It's got that contrast, and I think I'm going to create another pocket. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly mark where I need to cut, and I will cut that down to make a notch right here. Okay. I'm going to use my gilding wax. And I got a little much there, but you know, I think the less perfect it is, the better it looks. All right. So before I glue this down, I think I'm going to add some stencil marks. Just to break up some of that solid craft color there. And I think I'm going to go around with the black soot. Going to glue down what is going to be our pocket. So just on the bottom and on the sides here. And I want to be sure I don't go down on that fold. I have this, which I'm hoping will slide in like so. And then this part goes right under here, right under there. So that sits in there good. And then I just have this left, and I think I'm going to call that good as soon as I get this part done. Right here. Okay, so I cut this down to this size. It was about 7 1/4 by 4 inches. And I am going to I'm going to create my notch on the side here. And then I can insert another tag or something fun like that right on the side. So we're going to distress this up. All right, so I'm going to glue this. I was thinking what I would do is take this piece of ephemera. Okay, so I am thinking of just creating this belly band with this and then putting some tags in here like so. And these are just handmade tags. You can take a manila folder and just, cut the shape of a tag, do a hole punch through it, and then you can do a reinforcement. That's all that these are. And then I will probably decorate those tags up and everything later. The main thing is I wanted to get the folio all nice and decorated. All right, so I'm just going to apply glue on the top and bottom. Oops. All right, let's see, hopefully I can get that in there. And it looks like I can. I'm just going to make sure I don't have glue stuck where I don't want it. I'm going to get my little tool that I use, my painting tool, and just kind of free that up there a little bit. Alright, so we now have a pocket here for a tag, and we have a pocket here for a tag. And again, I am going to decorate these tags a little later. The video again is running long, so yeah, I need to I need to cut it down just a little bit. I thought it'd be kind of fun to put some of these labels that I had, you know, kind of put those like so on there. So I can get a number stamp or something and just stamp in here. I'll probably distress that and then put something fun on the tag. So I have my 2 tags there. Alright, so this will stick down through here. And then we have our flap that goes down through here on the other side. So that flap is done. We have the little pieces of gilded vellum going throughout our album. And again, I'm leaving these spaces open for pictures. And then I do have where I want to put a band here and a band here to put some stationery. That's what I decided to do. You could do a big picture on each side, but I think I'm going to fill it with stationery. And so when I do the video showing how to make the envelopes here, these are the envelopes that I'm going to show in the next tutorial, is how to do these, and I'm going to do a few more. And then do some matching stationery that will go on this side, and then we'll create a band to hold that in place. So that will be the next video. So you don't want to miss out on that. But look at our folio. I love it. I think it turned out great. I love the embossed rose gold metallic borders here. And I might need to figure out what I want to do here as well. So I will probably be back, you know, doing another video showing how I'm going to decorate this section. And then I do have the beaded dangle that I'm going to do on the side. And I was hoping to get it all decorated. Again, just ran short on time, and I want to get this video out. I am running behind on videos because my daughter came and saw me this weekend, so it was so nice. We had a lot of fun. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got lots of ideas as usual. That's one thing in the videos that I really try to do, is give you all sorts of new ideas, and I try to really have them be unique and, you know, like the using half of a paper bag to create this little pocket envelope, things like that, how to do these flaps and belly bands just to create beautiful, eye-catching, interactive elements within your folio. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a comment, please like and subscribe, and check out these other videos. Be sure to check these out. If you haven't seen the previous videos on how we made this folio, I have a new project in the works, and we're going to do a few more, just like I said, doing some more decorative elements, tags, envelopes, that sort of thing. And then this I also made from a paper bag. So yes, I will be showing how you make more envelopes from paper bags and your junk mail. So we'll be having all sorts of fun. And again, these vellum sheets and things, those will be coming in the upcoming kit that will be getting sent out. And if you have any questions about the monthly subscription kit or the quarterly subscription kit, please leave me a message. Also, I want to mention on that you need to subscribe. You actually need to subscribe to get the subscription price. If you're only getting a one-time purchase, you're not going to get the discounted price. I've had a few people reach out and they weren't sure on the price. They said it's higher than what it should be, and that's because they didn't subscribe. You have to subscribe to get the subscription price. It's a discounted price for subscribing. So I want to just kind of clear that up as well. And yeah, again, if you have any questions, just reach out, let me know. So I will be back soon with another video. And again, don't forget to check out these other videos. Thank you so much for watching.